The Old Guard is a film about a small group of immortals with expiration dates that have fought their way throughout history. This will be a breakdown of their ages, history, and a brief summary of the lore of the universe. Keep in mind that the movie does make some changes from the comic book. I will be drawing from the comic book to fill in the blanks that the movie does not go into, but I will try and stay in movie canon as much as possible. In total, there have been 7 immortals throughout history, including modern times. However, only one of them has lost their immortality before Andy loses it in the movie. The first and oldest, as stated in the movie, is Andy. Her place of origin can be traced back to Central Eurasia to the Kingdom of Scythia. Approximately 4700 BC, she discovered her immortality. Before this, she was taken in by an elder of her tribe after her mother had died. She was trained and became a fearsome warrior. She was then later betrayed by the same elder due to her becoming jealous of her advanced skills. This betrayal led to her death on the battlefield. She later awoke to learn that her enemies had won against her tribe on the battlefield. She would then go on to save her allies and become the leader of her tribe for several hundred years. During this time, she was worshipped as a god by them. After this, she would then go on to wander and explore the world while getting caught up in war after war. She was alone for 1,000 years before meeting Lycaon and Queen, but she dreamed of them for many years before finally meeting them. She first started having dreams of Queen and then of Lycaon, meaning that Kareem was the second born and Lycaon was the third, after Andy herself. Both are presumed to have been born within 1,000 years of Andy, since the group of them got together about 1,000 years after Andy discovered her immortality. Queen is from Japan in the comic books, but from Vietnam in the movie. In the movie, she meets Queen first, and then it is assumed at some point later she meets Lycaon. However, in the comic book, this is the other way around. In the comic book, when she meets Lycaon, he had been dreaming of her as well as Queen for many years. He would not go with her, but she would go out on her own and eventually find Queen. After this, the 3 of them would eventually get together and form a group. They would be a group of 3 immortals for thousands of years until eventually meeting Joe and Nikki. The 2 of them started their immortality at the First Crusade. They were enemies on both sides of a conflict. The Christian army had laid siege to a Muslim stronghold. They discovered each other when they kept killing each other in single combat. After this, they eventually became lovers and joined the other 3 immortals. The whole group became a family. Lycaon is then later shot and dies of his wound. This shows that one day their immortality will run out. This fundamentally changes their perception of their own reality and immortality. They all keep going, but try to keep a low profile due to this shift in reality. However, things go for the worse for them in the 17th century. In the comic book, Queen falls off a ship into the ocean due to a storm. However, in the movie, her and Andy are tried as witches and she is put in an Iron Maiden and is thrown into the ocean. This is devastating to the group, but they find a way to move forward. Eventually, they meet a soldier named Booker serving in the Napoleonic Wars. He discovered his immortality in the year 1812. He was a Frenchman left freezing in Russia and attempted to desert the cause. He was then caught and hung, thus discovering his own immortality. He became the 4th person in the group, and they fought in a large array of wars up until becoming mercenaries for hire in the 20th century. They would eventually discover Nile, whose start of immortality is Afghanistan modern day. That is a brief history of this universe, the lore, and the ages of the characters. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.